To the case that some folks are making that it's a holdover from the civil rights era that isn't necessary.
Here's the deal. Look at last year. Look what happened in terms of when efforts were made to stop Sunday voting. When you looked at changing of voting hours, restricting early voting, also in Florida. All of those were efforts put in place, unfortunately, by Republican legislatures after 2008. Nobody can deny that. When you say we're not going to have voting on Sundays, that was to prevent those black churches from going en masse to the voting polls. And so, look, you can say, well, it's not targeting any race, but we know exactly what the purpose was. And Suzanne, one of the reasons you saw significant black turnout in Ohio and other states, because people were angry last year about voter suppression efforts. And what they're saying is, look, we've done well, and the reason we are doing well right now voting is because you had the federal government who says you got to pre-clear any changes to voting in those locales. It is critically important.
And Doug, I want to bring you into the conversation here. Tell us what it was like before you had the Voting Rights Act in place in 1965.
Well, Rosa Parks, during World War II, tried to vote, and they gave her a bunch of these Jim Crow voting laws that she had to answer questions on the Constitution. They wouldn't let Rosa Parks vote in Alabama, and she was going to take it to the courts. She eventually got the right to vote, and she fought hard for it. And in the 1960s, Rosa Parks wasn't just the person who sat on the bus in Montgomery in 1955. She walked, she protested, she marched on behalf of the Voting Rights Act, even going from Montgomery to Selma, Alabama. So, as Roland said, it's a great irony on the wonderful moment of unveiling a statue and then having this happening at the same time. I hope we can bring Rosa Parks into the conversation.
Well, let's ask it. That's exactly right. Let's talk about Rosa Parks, because sure. You have an op-ed. It's just come out here. We've seen the president obviously unveiling the statue on Capitol Hill of Rosa Parks, and you write that you think she might be embarrassed somewhat by this.
Well, certainly be embarrassed by the voting rights situation going on right now. But more than that, she was a very self-deprecating person. She didn't do anything, Rosa Parks, to make herself look good. She was about people, grassroots activist. And also, when I interviewed her for my biography, you know, her big heroine was Harriet Tubman of the Underground Railroad. And Barack Obama now needs to sign a national monument to save the Harriet Tubman sites in Auburn, New York, and near Cambridge, Massachusetts, by the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge. One executive signature and Harriet Tubman's legacy could be saved, and that's something Rosa Parks cared mightily about.
And one of the things I think that most people don't know is that it was very strategic to actually put her on that bus and to have her be the one to lead the charge there. That it was not something that she was like this meek, mild woman, right, but that she had the background, she had the profile of someone who could carry a movement.
Precisely, Suzanne, well, and I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
And Doug,
people forget it. She was the secretary for the NAACP for Mr. E.D. Nixon, and she did all of this work. She would go and interview black women raped in Alabama and do the case studies for the NAACP. Her life isn't about one moment in December. Right. It's about a lifetime commitment to civil rights. She was polite. She wasn't on a firebrand. She was more like Gandhi and Mandela, perhaps, than Malcolm X or King. But she was a courageous civil rights warrior, and it's right that we're honoring her with the statue.
All right.
Hey, Suzanne, yes? I got to say, it's real interesting to have Rosa Parks. Her statue literally is right across from Jefferson Davis. And so again, quite interesting in Statuary Hall to have Jefferson Davis on one side looking across at Rosa Parks. That would be one heck of a conversation.
Absolutely. All right, Roland, Doug, thank you very much.